Hey everyone, it's Barbara Ann. Welcome back to my channel, Straight Out of Context. Copyright disclaimer. Under the Copyright Act of 1976, I am within my full legal right to share these following clips via video and audio. The following creators allow reshare, redistribution, and download of their content, and as always, I credit in the description box down below. Fair use, public domain, TikTok third-party license, and TikTok Live automatic third-party license for the use of commentary, reaction, teaching, news reporting, research, comment, and criticism. I am legally within my basic human, civil, and constitutional right to share under the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, to share my expressions, views, thoughts, opinions, feelings, and critiques. The First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution guarantees my freedom of religion, freedom to exercise of, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, free assembly, and the right to petition the government and air my grievances. The First Amendment does not cover lies that amount to defamation, slander, libel, harassment, stalking, cyberstalking, bullying, cyberbullying, threats, or any other verbal crimes. Gypsy Rose Blanchard and the Ivory Rose Grows Wild or Ivory Rose Grows Louder drama. Yeah, she was out last weekend partying with Gypsy Rose and a group of friends. And why are so many subscribers and followers upset? Because Gypsy is not a celebrity. She's not going to advocate. She is not going to relive her trauma for money. She has only shared her mother, her, and Nicholas's stories when it was convenient for her to make money. And she even posted this recently, that this past weekend she celebrated a huge milestone, officially being off of parole after years of restrictions and learning to rebuild her life, because these are things she missed out on in her 20s. She also shares an array of photographs, which include Ivory Rose Grows Louder. And if you didn't know, over on TikTok, she hadn't posted in 6 days, because how was she going to explain that she's Adaptive Kate 2.0? That she was kissing ass to her bullies and then turned around and became friends with them. And just like with Kate Marie, Gypsy Rose is giving her just a little bit of promotion to make her feel like she's really friends with her. But just like Kate, who said nothing inappropriate other than Gypsy is not an advocate for children abuse survivors. I give it less than 3 months and she's going to do the same exact thing that she and Brianna did to Adaptive Kate. They're going to break up with her and they're going to ice her out because it's convenient and good for Gypsy and her reputation and her brand. And I say that with air quotes, to have one of her biggest bullies and one of her biggest drama creators not only apologize to her, but actually come over to her side and be friends with her.
Gypsy, Bree, Christy, I can't blame none of them for what has happened and transpired, to me. Because I'm the one that posted the content. I made that choice. So it's my fault that my life's a mess now. Because I chose to put that out. I chose to put myself in it. And it was really unnecessary.
I'm not going to play her whole video, nor am I going to give it the attention, but this is giving Adaptive Kate, because Gypsy did the same thing with her. Bullied her into oblivion till she got tired and turned around and did everything she could to get it to stop, while simultaneously bullying other people and their children nonetheless. But even when all is forgiven, this serves as a warning. But Ivory Rose Grows Louder came after this fact, like hundreds and hundreds of others who are, quote, new, unquote, to the Gypsy Rose Blanchard case. Gypsy posts this. This was brave, raw, and inspiring. I think you can have a beautiful voice that can advocate for mental health awareness. I am so proud of you for being so vulnerable and open. Don't forget to show your self-forgiveness as well. Path is forward, not back, and the path to healing is a hard one, but worth it. Stay strong and good vibes. Apparently, those good vibes is having Gypsy Rose Blanchard back you publicly and partying with her, which is nothing more than a fuck you and a slap in the face to everybody who did and does support her because of all the things that she has claimed they have done to her. And remember, Ivory Rose Grows Louder came out of the woodworks. No one knew who she was, and no one knew why she was inserting herself into the drama, very much like Kate Marie did. Gypsy Rose got out of prison, and people were envious over the following that she got for killing her mom, lying on Nicholas, and inadvertently costing his mom her life because of all the lies and the slander of her son. But what Ivory doesn't say in her video is anything about why she's out drinking with this group of friends, why she's out smiling, why she's meeting up and friends with them. And she offers absolutely no apologies, no explanation. Her video is gaslighting with the constant crying and the poor mental health issues. But if you have poor mental health issues, nobody made you come to the internet. And then the internet is probably not a place for you. And yes, Bree, Christy, and Gypsy are not responsible for you inserting yourself and creating this drama or driving by Gypsy's house and trying to bait her to come out and fight when she's pregnant. Yeah, they are not responsible for that. But if you are mentally ill or mentally disabled, as a full-grown adult, it is your responsibility to make sure you're getting the care that you need. But yet those are the exact types of people that want to make it famous, make it big, start making the bag off of social media. And they get jealous, envious, and hateful when it's somebody else for murdering their mom and not them. Instead of just making their content being relatable with their audience for truly who they are. She's the one that came out of nowhere talking about Gypsy and the Gypsy Bayou bullshit. But besides the drama and the Lifetime drama and everybody covering that, this is what's suspicious. She says she deleted all her hate content, yet she has a lot about cyberbullying still up. The ones with views, so she can still monetize these videos. And this is for anybody who is struggling that horribly, or they say they are in a video and crying. You probably shouldn't be messing around with tarot then. Because as somebody who is very devout to God, and I have my own religion, I don't stop anybody else from having their own religion. But once you start opening up your life to that kind of stuff, no wonder why you are struggling. It's not karma, it's the pathway to darkness. But it's video after video saying that Gypsy and her friends are bullies. More videos about bullying. And it continues on, not just with Gypsy. She's also come after Sir Morbid X and other creators like Flawless Nina, the beauty influencer.
Yeah, everybody was talking about it, which is what everybody believes, that it didn't happen on June 10th, that it happened on June 9th. And yeah, I do mean rest in peace, Dee Dee. Not, yeah, right. You shouldn't say that. That's disrespectful. Rest in peace, Dee Dee, because she deserves to rest in peace. Gypsy's been slandering her fucking name.
And suddenly you forgot that's what you stood for? Well, when you stand for nothing, you stand for nothing.
What do you mean? We've been saying she ain't been abused this entire time. What do you mean?
As for some of us on the bayou, you are our comfort. Really? Okay,
What?
That's interesting. Where we go for a tight hug, kind words, and advice, and a big bowl of gumbo. Okay, maybe she's just kind of like trying to be nice. I'm not sure. Okay.
Yeah, she was people's comfort. Dee Dee was somebody's sister, daughter, friend, relative.
Yeah, and apologizing to her murderer is one thing. Hanging out with her and getting drinks with her is another.
She brought a lot of comfort to a lot of people. It's crazy that you're saying this, but you've raised money for the urn for Dee Dee, though, right? She did. Dee Dee was a friend to a lot of people, and she brought a lot of comfort to them. God, man. It's Gypsy's lies that made Dee Dee the abuser. We've all proven that not to be true, that Dee Dee was an abuser. There's no proof of it. It's Gypsy's story that makes her the abuser. So yeah, Dee Dee is a lot of people's comfort. She had a lot of friends and family that cared a lot about her.
Yeah, she did, but clearly you see now that she was just using that to try and get back at Gypsy. For whatever reason, I have no idea, because people all over, including the Bayou, are jealous of Gypsy. Make that make sense. How is anybody going to be jealous over somebody who murdered another person, lied about another, and caused so much mental, emotional, and physical distress that his mother took her life over it?
It was a memorial video.
Okay, let's move on. Even after she moved, Dee Dee, she was just a phone call away. So you knew, maybe I'm wrong here. I don't know. Those are some of the things and feelings some will never forget. And here she is, the gypsy on the bayou, or whatever this person calls herself nowadays. I don't know. Someone needs more attention, I guess, and more clicks and views or something like that. And here she is disrespecting Dee Dee Blanchard, maybe.
How am I disrespecting Dee Dee?
Boo-boo bestie, and I got something to say. Okay, so if you're new here, I'm Ivory Rose, your boo-boo bestie, and I live on the bayou, 15, 20 minutes from Gypshit. I got the gypsy on the bayou.
Well, this didn't age very well, did it? And she kept these all up on YouTube when she said she took this all down. So has she personally apologized to Morbid or Flawless Nina, like she did Gypsy, for all of this bullshit, for making this all up, and then bullying them, slandering their names in video after video?
Let's go. Now, first I want to show you a clip that I was sent of somebody talking, and we're going to get into it, okay? So, this is the clip.
You all catch the 60 Minutes of Lies in Gypsy Rose's show last night? You know, once a liar, always a liar. She said in her show last night that she was home when the girl drove by, that she was threatened by. Gypsy Rose's best friend, or alleged best friend, said that she was out at the store when it all happened on live months ago when this incident happened. Now she was at home. Did you really see the bad acting? Ken said, do you want me to come get you? She said, well, you can come get me later. Then Ken says, okay. Then he hangs up and calls back and says, shh, I think I should come get you right now. I'll be there in an hour and a half. If she was really threatened and you were really scared, you wouldn't wait. But let's be real. Someone that had their mom unalived, are they really scared of some random person? But it's also crazy for somebody to go over to someone's house and you know that they unalived their mom. I don't know which one's crazy, but I know that they both are crazy. Now, I also want to show another.
Yeah, let's get into it. First off, why the fuck are you even making a video on the situation to begin with, Miss Ma'am? Okay? Because while I was going through this shit, you was spreading it all around that I was fucking lying. You was spreading it around that I wasn't even from the fucking bayou. You made a whole fucking video on it. So who's the liar? Okay? Right along with Gypsy. And like the fact that you even talking about this while you was the entire time this was happening, you was trying to squash out my story. You was trying to tell people not to share what was going on.
Yet she shows no proof of that being true.
You was telling people, other creators, to ice me out while this was going on so that the word wouldn't spread. The same lies and rumors that you spread was in her episode. Now.
Even though she shows no proof that that is true, even if it was she wrong though? Was she wrong though? Look at you over here, so mentally in a dark hole that you're smiling, out partying. See, it's one thing to cover the drama and to speak about what really happened or what's really happening, and this. And Gypsy is in so much danger that she's one person away from her now. Where's the Lifetime and TMZ cameras now capturing that?
So the fact that you think that you... it's hilarious to me. It's hilarious. And you want to capitalize on this now. When you was trying so hard to shut me up along with the Blanchards. Did you forget that? Did you forget that? Did you forget what you was doing during this whole thing? You was calling me a liar. And now you want to say it? Girl, please. I mean, my God. And then a random girl? You call me a random girl? Well, if I'm a random girl, you a fucking random girl too. The difference is I'm closer than you.
That still does not mean that you have better sources, because trust me, there are real sources very close to Gypsy in her family. And there are people in her family on both sides of her family that have spoken out. Living in a closer proximity doesn't give you more credit or reputation. Now that everybody can go back and watch all of her videos that she still has on her YouTube, you're going to catch all the red flags.
Ain't that why you was pissed? Yeah.
Gypsy, her new woo-woo bestie, posted this about the Louisiana Mobile billboards, and good for them for standing up for the First Amendment rights of all Americans. You can pause to read what Gypsy sent to them. A small business, mind you, that got paid for a service and it was completed.
This random girl is a content creator that is exposing Gypsy Rose due to Bayou gossip. That's me. I'm not a random girl. A random girl would be some girl on the internet from states away trying to, do what you're doing. That's a random girl. So it's just real funny that you're even speaking on this when you tried so hard to shut me fucking up. And you want to call me crazy along with Gypsy? Why you didn't bring up the fact that, and since you want to talk about it, why you didn't bring up the fact that Christy asked me to come down there? Why didn't you bring up the fact that she asked for receipts?
She said verbatim, "Show me the receipts," unquote. She never said anything about coming to their house. Christy never said on that live to come down here. Trust me, I know, because I have covered this in my videos several different times while all this drama was playing out. Yeah, and on both sides, Gypsy supporters and non-supporters were not okay with that. Everybody was very vocal about how that was not okay to go by her house, especially while she was pregnant with an innocent child. And no, that is not an excuse and that's not a shield, but nobody in their right and healthy state of mind would say to do that to Gypsy. See, that's the difference between good people and bad people. Gypsy is a horrible person and a convicted murderer. But if she was dying in front of me or you, I would really hope that you would have the human decency and the value of life across all of your morals, that you would help her. Because I would. You can't say justice for Dee Dee, justice for Nicholas, and justice for Stephanie, and then sit here and say that you devalue life when it comes to her or unborn babies. If you value life, you have to value all life. And you don't have to like Gypsy. She is a convicted murderer, but Gypsy does have her basic human rights. She does have her civil and her constitutional rights, which do include her body, her person, her privacy, her personal space, her autonomy. That also includes that she has the right to her life, her basic human right to life. And people can have their own thoughts and opinions on that, but Gypsy Rose Blanchard also does have her right to her safety. And that is not only my opinion, that is a basic universal truth. Even prisoners have their basic civil and constitutional rights still, even though they are criminals and they may or may not be incarcerated. And of course, if you didn't follow the drama, supposedly Gypsy and her friend, while Gypsy was pregnant, went by the work of Ivory Rose Grows Louder. And in her video, she says that her life is a mess, that she's in a dark place, and she cries, but she cries every other video, playing on everybody's sympathy. But that's the funny thing about that. You do that too much, you're crossing that line into people are going to see who you really are. Everybody on planet Earth has mental health issues at some point or another. Loss, grief, depression, anxiety, mental disability, mental illness. Nobody out of 8 billion people across 195 countries on Earth are exempt from that. But she also mentions that she is having a hard time finding a job. And what did she think or expect? That being friends with Gypsy Rose Blanchard is going to afford her a new job, a new reputation, a new status? No. And I use this as a perfect example because Gypsy got out on December 28th of 2023, and on January 20th of 2024, here comes Adaptive Kate in a mainstream interview on YouTube, which you can still go and watch, speaking about Gypsy Rose Blanchard, Munchausen syndrome by proxy, comparing herself and what she went through with Gypsy's case. But that was all about the fact that Gypsy Rose Blanchard got out, got over 10 million followers at one point, and went on a PR tour. But what she failed to realize is that the murder itself, the crime itself, is what got Gypsy the infamy, not the fame, the infamy that has been afforded to her. And the Gypsy Rose agenda had been in full force since her crime in 2015. She didn't just get out and get famous. I have showed it in my video, The Gypsy Rose Agenda, that this was curated over 10 years. And nobody has taken advantage of Dee Dee's story more than Gypsy Rose herself has. But when she got out, people saw her blow up and they got jealous because they too felt like they were not only deserving of 10 million followers, that they were deserving of more than a convicted murderer. That's why you still see people come out of the woodworks to talk about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And I'm telling you now, all the new people that have popped up, everybody should be suspicious. You should always question everything and everybody. Because while the internet can be an amazing and beautiful place, there is a very big dark side of the internet, and it attracts people like this, not mentally well people.
You can't, because you sat on Morbid's live and you fucking talk shit about that. And you simultaneously turned a whole fucking panel of viewers against me from that one fucking statement. What is it? You can't fucking say anything nice about me? Or you gonna piss your fucking Blanchard sources off? Because that's what it is. Did I not blow the whistle on that? Yeah. You know what? When that episode airs about that baby shower, yeah, you know that rumor you spread around that I had to say, look, I'm from here. Nobody's saying that. There is no breakup. I can't wait to speak on that. I can't wait. Because you dragged me through the fucking mud along with everybody else that you gathered up on your fucking bandwagon. I can't wait.
And besides Gypsy's statement to Louisiana Mobile Billboards, which I'll get into in a second, and you can pause to read this, I'm going to clarify this statement. Ivory Rose Knows posted this. I need everyone to understand that I am not Ivory Rose Grows Louder. She is a separate creator. I am getting messages and emails from people who are angry by her actions, but it is not me. I have also been losing large amounts of followers because people are mistaking me for her. Now, Ivory Rose Knows has been on TikTok longer than what Ivory Rose Grows Louder was. But Ivory Rose Grows Louder came out of literally nowhere. And a lot of people believe that this was done intentionally because Ivory Rose Grows Louder was talking about Gypsy and the gossip and the drama and inserting herself into it. But as I just showed you, she simultaneously was trying to take down other large creators who talk about Gypsy's crime. And you know what is so hilarious about that is there are creators that have larger followings and some not. But there are creators who have been here since before Gypsy has been released, talking about her crime. And they're still going strong to this day. And no, I do not mean fancy. And love her or hate her, she does have a lot of really good information, including Gypsy's medical records. And if it wasn't for her, nobody today would have access to those. And Gypsy would still be running with the narrative that she was completely healthy. So the whole video that Ivory Rose Grows Louder posted, she's crying. And while many people have sympathy and empathy and compassion for mental health issues, what people are not going to have sympathy, empathy, and compassion for is the lies and the gaslighting and the manipulation. Because if you watch the video, you're going to clearly see how she can turn on and off that crying at the flip of a switch. And the fact is that she does this entire video explaining why she reached out and apologized to Bree and to Gypsy for what she had done, the hurt that she had caused. But did she reach out to anybody else, like Sir Morbid X or Flawless Nina? Anybody in Dee Dee's family? Anybody in Nick's family? No, she's only focused on the convicted murderer that she hurt because she's the one who is infamous and has a large following on TikTok. And she says fuck you and slaps you in the face even further by not apologizing to her followers and subscribers, but not offering them an explanation for why she's out partying and drinking with said murderer. After raising GoFundMe after GoFundMe, asking for thousands of dollars for a lawyer to fight her bullies. And as you know, Gypsy Rose Blanchard rolled her eyes at her friend when she broke the news to her that she has stage 4 liver disease. Well, touche, Sheena, because somebody says to her, oh boy, Gypsy is going to kill someone else. Her friend Boston was seen on a screenshot saying an exact threat. And it said something like, you're alive, ... for now, ... But Sheena responds back to this with, nah, we're keeping all the weapons away from her. Even if that's satire and sarcasm, it's really kind of not, is it? Because the biggest weapon that Gypsy utilizes is the same thing that Ivory Rose Grows Louder is trying to utilize. Your heart, your sympathy, your compassion. But again, you can't offer forgiveness to anybody who's truly not asking for it and who is also truly not offering a real explanation for why they did this. Now, let's get to the Louisiana Mobile Billboard. Ken posted this response from them that night, trying to get the entire thing shut down, and you can pause to read it. Well, now they have a GoFundMe because they are an independent small business. And while Ken has made multiple comments on TikTok and Instagram that it was shut down, the campaign was not shut down. And you can pause to read, but Louisiana Mobile Billboard posted this to their stories on their Instagram page, that as a media and advertising platform, they do not create or endorse the content of the ads that they display, but that they are a huge supporter of the First Amendment right to the U.S. Constitution, which includes freedom of religion, freedom of the press, free speech, freedom to exercise of, free assembly, which means protesting, peaceful protesting, and freedom to petition the government. The First Amendment covers everybody's right to freely assemble and peacefully protest. And it covers thoughts, feelings, opinions, emotions, views, critiques, and the truth. What was on that billboard was fundamentally not cyberbullying. It wasn't a threat. It was the truth. And people have the right to express their thoughts and feelings on that. They have the right to run the ad. Gypsy Rose Blanchard is a convicted murderer. And if people think that she's not fit for motherhood and she's not fit to be off of parole, well, the First Amendment covers that right. What it doesn't cover is lies that amount to defamation, threats, stalking, bullying, cyberbullying, or any other verbal crimes. So Gypsy can paint it as she's being cyberbullied and she doesn't like it. But she weaponizes social media and mainstream media every single day to do the same exact thing to her mother, to Stephanie Goldammer, Nick's mom, and Nicholas Godejohn himself, and countless amounts of content creators. But they are within their constitutional, civil, and basic human right. So good on Louisiana Mobile Billboard for standing up for our constitutional rights, because that goes right to the very heart of every American. Gypsy utilizes hers every time she uses social media or book deals or mainstream media, a reality show, an interview, a podcast, even her own TikTok. And everybody will be damned come hell or high water that she's going to infringe on or impede other people's constitutional and civil rights. But first, let's see what a few other people over on the TikTok streets have to say about Ivory Rose Grows Louder. And yes, some people are sympathetic to her and some people are offering her forgiveness and redemption. But the funny thing about that is, in her video, nowhere does she address or ask for it. If she privately did that between Bree and herself and Gypsy, well, that's not her subscribers and followers. And what she did essentially is exactly what happened with the Adaptive Kate stuff. That's the kiss of death. Begging supporters and followers and subscribers for help because you're being cyberbullied for over 10 months, turning around and cyberbullying somebody else for over 8 months, and then not only kissing ass, but becoming friends with those so-called bullies. It's disgusting. And it is a slap in the face. It is a fuck you to everybody. And a lot of people in this community that follow her are the same people that follow a lot of other creators. What she doesn't realize is that community is shared, and that harms other content creators who share most of those followers and subscribers. And that is something that content creators, especially myself, cannot support or endorse. Not until there is some kind of acknowledgement and apology to those people, because those followers don't belong to her. The same way the 9.5 million accounts that are following Gypsy over on TikTok, those don't belong to her either. She's not entitled to it. But yet today, in the modern age with social media and these social platforms, people really do start to believe that they are deserving of it and entitled to it. Nobody, myself included, is entitled to the subscribers, followers, and the support that I receive or that they receive. Being humble, staying grounded, and staying grateful is my number one priority when it comes to the community. But a lot of people don't realize that my first 6,000 subscribers didn't come from true crime. They came over 3 years ago from my disability and cancer content, sharing my story as a cancer survivor, as an abuse survivor, as somebody who has a genetic disability, and as somebody who has fibromyalgia.
Girl, Gypsy Rose tried to sue. Gypsy Blanchard said no lawyer would touch it. Even said they reached out to a few lawyers and no one would touch it. She thought maybe when Gypsy's documentary came out, that would change their mind. It didn't. Let's be real. Poster child of her microdeletion and Gypsy. Come on now. It wasn't a case. And not only that, had they have actually went into a whole lawsuit, things that would have come out, especially in her deposition. The same reason they didn't take Gypsy Rose's case to trial. Had they have taken it to trial, all Gypsy Rose's dirty little secrets would have came out. So would her microdeletion. Would have been found out that, oh shit, she was diagnosed with this in 2011. She did have symptoms. So some of them were gassed up, like Gypsy telling the doctor she had no feeling below her pelvic area. But when they did their sensation test, she responded to their light touch. Same thing with the hearing test, and the doctors accused Gypsy of malingering. When you look up the studies on children who have fictitious disorder imposed on themselves, the kids are making themselves sick. Doctors said these cases were nearly invisible. We know Gypsy told Nick that she had a seizure that caused her to be temporarily paralyzed. She didn't tell Dee Dee when she got the feeling back.
Dee Dee told me that Gypsy had problems with her salivary glands. One of her seizures made her paralyzed from mid-thigh.
Gypsy is the one who told doctors that the Botox no longer was working and she was drooling and choking again. Told them it worked well for a minute. Now she was having trouble again. Just like she told Dee Dee she couldn't feel her legs. Dee Dee told Christy that. I swear I'm starting to believe that Gypsy was the one gassing some of these symptoms up. Maybe they couldn't get that lawsuit pushed through because Gypsy was the one malingering, not Dee Dee. Maybe she had a little factitious disorder going on. I don't know. Hey, this is all alleged, entertainment purposes only, in my opinion. The rest, well, I got that shit from her medical record.
I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say. A billboard of Gypsy Rose Blanchard unaliving her mother, matricide, being projected on a billboard screen, driving down New Orleans. Fucking funny. It's fucking funny. All right? The people that have a problem with it, so whenever people show up and show out, now it's a problem. So we just all want to get up on here and just talk about it and not do nothing about it. I'm here for action. I think it's fucking hilarious. I think it's a little dish of some karma pie. One who doesn't think that's funny? Like, what? What? Like, do you like Gypsy Rose Blanchard now? Because I thought we were all in agreement that she needed some fucking karma. Doesn't just get to walk around and forget the crime that she committed. No. No. That little mobile billboard was doing its thing. I'm here fucking for it. Thank you.
I don't know if you guys have seen the video that Ivory Rose Grows Wild has posted over on YouTube. I didn't even watch the whole thing. But what I did watch, there's some things I want to put out there. I am so sick to death of this whole bully culture that goes, I just want to say, shut up. If you are bold enough to want to make content, having a strong opinion, then you better be ready for backlash. That's just first of all. Grown adults getting on social media, speaking out boldly of their opinions and their truth. And then when people don't agree with them, getting so hurt. I make conservative content all the time, and I get lots of backlash. Ask me if it bothers me. It doesn't. You are not a part of my daily life. I'm sorry. You don't pay my bills. You're not my baby child with their arms around me telling me they love me every day. Get some thicker skin. Also, the reason why a lot of us speak out, for me anyway, is because a life was taken. Yeah, Dee Dee Blanchard and her unaliver shows no remorse and no respect and no sympathy. And it's just disgusting. And demonizes her after what they did to her. That's a freaking problem. So no, ma'am, you don't just go from R.I.P. Dee Dee and actually truly genuinely caring about what happened to her to going and getting drinks with Gypsy. And no amount of tears that you cry are gonna fly this time. I don't do this for the clicks and views. There was a good long season where I didn't get paid to make videos. Like months. I got kicked out of the Creator Rewards program and I still continued to make videos. Because I'm an advocate, and that's what advocates do. They use their voice for things that they truly care about. And the things that I have truly cared about are, number one, her taking accountability, showing remorse for the life that was lost, the life that should be her hero that sits behind bars now every single day for the rest of his life, the potential damage that she could do for the face of advocacy. And that will never change until change comes. I don't give a dang if she hates me, likes me, loves me, wants to start a smear campaign, wants to send all of her little friends after me and make cry. I don't give a dang. I'm not gonna stop being who I am. So save your freaking crocodile tears, Ivory. It's one thing for you to say, hey, this is a little bit too toxic for me. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm gonna back out of making this content. To going out with them on the weekend and throwing back some drinks. You didn't have to do that. And that wasn't to make peace. That was because you've been comfortable with them for a long time. I can't prove it, and I really don't know what it's all about. But for as thick and as deep and as awful and disturbing as the beef between you guys has been, there's no way you were that comfortable to go out like your best friends. Unless you really were. So kindly save it. You did more of a disservice for Dee Dee Blanchard than anybody. And how are you gonna act so hard, so tough on all these videos, acting like you finna fight Bree and you finna do all this stuff, and bawl your eyes out? Talking about bullies. Justice for Dee Dee Blanchard. Justice for Nick Godejohn. This is insane. This is actually insane. So let me get this straight. You begged for like 10, 20K to get a lawyer because you said that Gypsy and the Blanchards were so dangerous that your life was in danger. Are we sure that's not Ken's sister? Because I swear to you, they look so much alike. I've always
thought that. Cousin something, somewhere in there. Look at their facial features. Irregardless, I'm sitting here reminiscing on all of the, like, brutal lives that Bree did about Ivory. And the fighting back and forth. All the false information. All the reaching. And I've come to understand this is so much more evil than I thought it was. So many lies. So many twists. So much deception. So much evil and corruption. Like, it's sick. The links that they go to cover things up. And from a Christian standpoint of things, ooh, baby. You know the saying, God don't like ugly? Y'all's fall is gonna be, it's gonna be intense. Because no matter how many signs get put in front of your face of, hey, you need to change. Hey, this ain't right. Stop. Y'all just don't give a dang. And I don't know what your karma is gonna look like. But for all the seeds that y'all have sown, you will reap a harvest. And people have tried to warn you. Ivory, I think about all the times I stuck up for you when you were hurting because of these people. I have never understood fake people. I have never understood trying to hide my identity, lying, or doing evil things. Making up things or playing some sick game with all these people. I don't do it. I even try to shy away from when creator is against creator. But this whole thing has turned into like a cesspool of just like mess ick. It just gives me the ick. For the most part, all you can do is sit back and laugh. I'm with Amber J on this one, man. Do I want justice? Yes, I do. Do I want that girl to take accountability? Sure, I do. But she's going to crash and burn all on her own. I promise you that. Without help of anything that comes out of my mouth. Everybody always says to me, now is not the time to let up. But I'm not God. I'm just a creator that points out evil and corruption when I see it. This is actually insane. Of how sick it is that you could send somebody out to make up lies, to ask for money, to grift for you, to do all these things to, I mean, it's just to control a narrative. Woo! Baby! This is sicker than I thought! Glad you got to take your cousin out, kid.
I find the whole thing kind of funny, personally. Like, be you. If you love Gypsy because she's like, y'all cool, maybe family, I don't know. Just be you, girl. Be you, boo. Namaste. Hi. A TikTok, patty whack, give a dog a bone. This chubby lady go rolling down the TikTokity streets. Okay. I'm Katrina. I wanted to speak on really tired, but I was doing some work on my chakras. You don't believe me? Here's my papers. And I did a whole bunch of paperwork, so my eyes are hurting. Anyhow, sorry about my hair. I was also cleaning the pool, so I was doing things. But this crazy stuff that's going on the internet, with Woo Woo Bestie, Ivory Rose grows louder. Okay, I can't say I'm not disappointed. Very disappointed that, not that she decided to not do the Gypsy, videos, because that's fine. You know, that gets negative. I mean, if you notice my work, I've done Gypsy videos and I've, stood up for, Ivory Rose grows louder. Many times. I have many videos up, and I'm leaving those up. I'm not dirty deleting anything, because whatever I believed is in those videos. Okay, I'm disappointed that she went out with Gypsy and her crew and Bree. I'm disappointed in that. Okay, but, you know, we can't tell a stranger, because that's who we are on these TikTok streets and YouTube streets, unless you are talking to that person on the phone and, you know, have that kind of relationship with them. Other than that, we're just fellow content creators. But I always liked her. And, you know, I didn't want her to be upset and, like, cursing and get her Irish up and get her blood pressure up when she was doing her videos about Gypsy. Often she would get upset, and I don't like that because I like to have a namaste type of life. I'm in the same field as her. I'm a reader, I'm a psychic, I'm a medium, and I have spent many, many years. I'm a lot older than her. I could be her mother, okay, but I've spent many years trying to have a peaceful life, because I have had a lot of stress in my life, a lot of bad things that happened, and then some good things that have happened. And if it affects your mental health, whatever content you're doing, then yeah, definitely. There's plenty of times I step back and I just do my dances and I do my songs, or I do nothing, nothing on the internet, or I just pay attention to my YouTube channel, or I don't pay attention to anything on social media if I need a break. And you could change your content, that's especially if it's affecting your life, but she lost her job. She lost her job due to things that with Gypsy and Bree. And so to go out and break bread, so to speak, and have drinks, I don't go for that. Okay. Of course, I'm not going to tell anybody who to break bread with, but if you want to be backed up, and I've always been in the middle between Ivory. I like Ivory Rose, grows louder, and I liked Nina, but Nina stopped acknowledging my existence. So, when people get a couple of chances with me, I'll say hello again. If I say hello the third time and you still ignore my existence, then you know what? You have too many friends, maybe. Okay, so, but I like her content. I watch it, until she starts to talk about Diddy, and I can't listen to anything about Diddy because it makes me upset. But anyhow, getting back to Ivory, if she wanted to, pull her energy back into more creative fields with her readings, her cards, and, she would definitely see that she's not going to get as many, views or whatever. I am not monetized on the TikTok lanes or the YouTube lanes, and I've been on YouTube since 2019. And some people might say, oh, that's dumb, that you're not even monetized. You could be making money. No, my spirit guides, my angels and God tells me what to do. Okay, so I run myself the way I could be proud of myself. And I don't believe in bullying, but I don't believe in putting your head in the sand either, and hanging out with a schmurderer when she gets off. I'm totally against that. That doesn't sit well with my heart or my soul, and it's not my business. But when you make it other people's business because you say one thing and then your actions are showing something totally different, of course people feel hoodwinked. And you know that card. You know the hoodwinked card because you do tarot. So I don't wish you any Ivory Rose grows. I don't wish you any harm or malice, or I wish you the best. I hope you get a job that is really, showcasing your gifts and talents to work with people. I think you're in a medical field. I'm not sure. But anyhow, whatever you do, put your heart and soul into it. Hopefully it's nothing on YouTube or TikTok, because I don't think that is a good road for you. Just as a friend, as a former bestie, I just don't think that those streets are safe. They're not safe because so much craziness has gone on, and you go through an emotional roller coaster, and it's sad, and nobody wants you to cry. I mean, I don't want you to cry, and a lot of the people that's supported you, and I like I said, I will not take down any of my videos. Probably haven't seen them. I used to put up a lot of videos on your behalf. One second, I'm not crying, but it's just my throat chakra. But anyhow, I wish you the best, and keep your eyes open if you, you know, are going to break bread with the Gypster and Bree, because exactly what they have done to you in the past, they could do to you in the future. And, you know what? Don't forget about Dee Dee, and don't forget about Nick. So, you know, it's okay to change your ways, but you don't have to go out and party with somebody like that. Okay? You could have gave a DM, or you could have did a little short video, and now it's like everybody feels hoodwinked, and everybody feels like, you know, I don't know. It just makes me feel very sad, a little bit heartbroken, but I'll get over it because I'm a big, tough girl. But I just hope, I wish you the best, and I hope you get right with your mental health and get rest and focus on your family, kids, and you're lucky enough to have a grandchild at a young age. I don't have any grandchildren, but focus on them. Don't focus on a schmurderer who has not changed her ways. Okay? And be well, be happy, be with your husband and your kids and your granddaughter, and forget everything else, and you will get a job. But take your focus off of social media, because it's never, it doesn't end in a good way. It doesn't. You've tried it. It doesn't. Go into the real world. That's my advice for you as a little sister. I'm the big sister, or the
Well, this is really funny. You guys cannot say that you were not warned, because people like me that just covered the drama that happened on the TV show, there are other creators who specifically told you not to trust this one. And you want to know why? Because Lifetime used the entire situation with her showing up to Gypsy's dad's house to paint a narrative that all content creators who legally are within their rights to speak their thought, feelings, expressions, opinions, critiques about Gypsy Rose Blanchard as a public figure, her actions, her words, her choices, and her behaviors. They want you to think that everybody who talks about her is a cyberbully, is somebody who literally is unhinged enough to come to her house and try to bait her to come out while pregnant to come and fight. But you can't say that you were not warned, because people that covered all of that drama and covered everything that Ivory Rose Grows versus Ivory Rose Grows Louder had said, the reason why is because we've already seen this play out over a year ago. And for those of you who are new here, I'll let you know right now. Her name is Adaptive Kate.
And I want to clarify this because a lot of people are missing it. A lot of people are saying this for me. Gypsy has not personally bullied me. I mean, I do believe she's part of the recording because she is stealing my content. That she has done, and I do have proof of that. But she is using Katie, Joy, and Bree to do it for her. And she does this very often. And Bree will even...
That's right. And if you don't know about the Adaptive Kate drama that happened with Gypsy and Bree and Katie Joy Paulson from Without a Crystal Ball from well over a year ago, then you probably don't remember that the same exact thing with Ivory Rose Grows Louder happened, the entire same scenario. Still can't believe this woman begged Nina, flawless Nina, the beauty influencer, for help because she was being bullied by the Blanchards and Bree. Now she's friends with these people. And that's exactly what it was all about. There was a lot of jealousy. You know why? Because Kate didn't kill her mother and Gypsy did. But Kate herself had at one point over 189,000 followers on TikTok. But that's just never good enough, right? She ended up becoming friends with Gypsy Rose Blanchard. And Gypsy even had the audacity to sit there and try to gaslight everybody to it was Nina's fault. Nina may have had her fun having people pitting us against each other on social media for a minute, but we are two mature women who can come together and unite as the strong women that we are. Gypsy says, I support Kate. Really, Gypsy? Because in November of 2024, you and Bree broke up with her. All because she was in the chat box of one of Bree's lives correcting somebody else from saying that you, Gypsy, were an advocate for survivors, victims, and children victims. And Kate just simply said the truth that no, she's not an advocate. And this came right after, 2 weeks after you put in an entire thing on not only TMZ, People Magazine, your Instagram, and your TikTok saying that you are not an advocate, that you are not going to relive your trauma. And yeah, I do have a screenshot of that. I'm not going to go dig it out right now, but that's exactly what happened. And Kate said, no, she's not. She is not advocating for victims or survivors or child victims or survivors. And that was enough to send Bree into a downward spiral to where she was so heated, she had to get off the live and go smoke a cigarette. Then Gypsy says, we never were going back and forth. Nina literally just used Kate for views. Nothing Nina said was true. I never bullied Kate, not once. It was not Nina who said this. It was Adaptive Kate herself who said this in interviews. Mainstream media interviews. It was Kate herself that said you were mass reporting her, that you were bullying her, that Katie Joy Polson, Christy Blanchard, and Brianna were all helping you to bully her. And this went on for 5 months before she made amends and decided to become friends with Bree, because Bree was cock blocking Gypsy. She couldn't even message or privately correspond with Gypsy without Bree knowing and seeing it. And that same exact thing happened with Nina, because Nina had correspondence with Gypsy at one point, and Gypsy, the first thing she asks Nina is to please not share this screenshot. You can talk about what we are saying, what we are talking about, but please don't show it. And guess what she did? She turns around and shows a screenshot of her and Nina's private correspondence to Bree, and Bree shows it on a live. And then that's when Nina was realizing that, okay, yeah, they're trying to manipulate, because I remember all of these videos, and you can go back and you can watch them, but that is not what happened. That is not on Nina. Gypsy trying to put that off on somebody else just because you don't like them is the same thing you did to Nicholas Godejohn. You're trying to put all the culpability and responsibility for your first-degree murder on that young autistic man because you think it lessens your culpability in your plan, in your crime. But it doesn't, because it makes you that much more responsible. Because if it wasn't Nick, you were going to find somebody else to do it for you. That's who you are. And no, we did not forget that in the spring of 2011 and on June 14th of 2011, you attempted twice to take your mother's life, and you never got charged with that. You know what's crazy? Is you did not meet Nick until October of 2012. So explain that to everybody, how you tried to take your mother's life a whole year and a year and a half before you ever even met Nick. But yet everything's all his fault and he's the one to blame for everything because he was going to do this anyway. The same way they say that about her mom. Her mom was slowly going to take her life. But that doesn't give Gypsy the right to turn around and take anybody's life. It doesn't give her the right to put Nicholas in prison for life. Literally convincing him and manipulating him that was the only thing that he could do to help her, to save her. all because he loved her. You know what that's giving? That is giving Sherry Papini. It's no coincidence that she's now trying to fight for her kids. She flunked. I mean, she totally bombed an FBI-administered lie detector test on a documentary, nonetheless, on national television and all streaming services. But now that she's fighting to try to get supervised visitation or some kind of custody back of her children, she's now claiming that not only was her ex-husband abusive, but her ex-boyfriend was abusive. And that this whole pretending to be abducted for 22 days was really her ex-boyfriend doing it to her when she flunked the lie detector test. She came back as being deceptive. And did she offer an apology for continuously still trying to gaslight and lie? No, absolutely not. So the people that are surprised by this, I'm not surprised by this. I'm very hurt for people in the community who actually were donating to a GoFundMe because she put one up trying to collect $30,000 for a lawyer to fight the bullying. And it wasn't even a week ago, even though she hadn't posted in 6 days, it wasn't even a week ago that Bree had a live and she was making all kinds of insinuations about, woo-woo, where you at? Woo-woo, where you at? Woo-woo, come up here. Oh yeah, she ain't gonna come up here. Oh, woo-woo, where you at? So this screams, do not trust it. Because we already seen this exact thing happen before. We even seen Katie Joy Paulson from Without a Crystal Ball, who was friends with the Blanchard family and Gypsy and Christy and had a personal relationship with all of them. So much so that she didn't even know Rod. His name is Rod, short for Rodney. She was calling him Rob, short for Robert, and Ron, short for Ronald. That's kind of weird because if you know somebody for 5 years, you should know their name. But even Katie Joy Paulson did the same exact thing. The whole adaptive Kate situation. You know what? She was friends with Bree and Gypsy for a very, very short time before they decided they were going to, nope, cutting her off completely. We are done with her. Just because she spoke the truth in the chat of a live panel that no, Gypsy is not advocating. It's the truth. It was the truth then. It is the truth now. She's not advocating for abuse survivors or victims or child abuse survivors. Absolutely not. And in November of 2024, this officially done. And she still hasn't given you an explanation why. Don't forget to subscribe, like, turn on notifications, and share.